We also had D-Glow this past weekend. The results were not what we expected at all. Eagle took it down. That could have been expected. But then we had Kyle Klein in second and Corey Ellis in third.
Can I just say, Kyle Klein, I don't really know what to think about Kyle Klein because he's kind of just like an Eagle impersonator, it seems like. But I watched an interview with Kyle Klein the other day, and he seemed like a very nice, like well-spoken young man. And so Kyle Klein, nice. Until you do something stupid, I'm a fan.
Until you do something stupid.
I thought he just seemed like a really nice guy, and I was like, all right, Kyle Klein, you're cool.
You're innocent until proven guilty.
That's right. That's how it always is in disc golf, except some people are just guilty because...
by association.
I don't like them.
By association.
Before we talk about any storylines, though, we've got to figure out what the frick to do with Trevor's dark horse picks, because this is getting out of hand.
I'll tell you what to do. You need to lock them in a safe space at this point, or just keep them as far away from a disc golf course as possible, because it's becoming a Final Destination movie at this point. Like, I pick someone, and then like as soon as I pick them, wherever they are in the world, they like see like how they're going to sprain their ankle right in front of their eyes. They're
like having their sleep during the like.
It's like
Trevor,
That's So Raven.
Them.
Like she like zooms out and like it zooms into her eye. And
we drop it on like
Tanner Gerard is slipping on a banana peel.
We drop it on Thursday and then just take an afternoon nap. We just wake up in a pouring sweat. Just
I don't know what just happened. I think I just got picked by Trevor on Crib Blocked.
Why does my shin hurts all of a sudden? What is going on?
It's like their ankle. Oh. They look at their ankle and it starts swelling.
It just turns to rubber. Like, woo, woo. They're like, why?
I'm gonna have the DNF.
Yeah. I just can't play anymore.
It's bad, man. It's not a coincidence.
We need to make there's a conspiracy theory
things
somewhere
happening. I don't know what's
there's
going on.
There's some type of conspiracy theory going on of what's happening behind the scenes.
I'm just glad that it's not the witch trial errors at this point, because I would have been burnt at the stake a long time ago.
I think what's going on.
My remains would be out there on a pole.
I think what's going on is Connor's paying someone behind the scenes to just.
Is it sabotage?
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing to these players.
It's just different every time, though.
Maybe that's it too, so they never get
caught. I'm just paying them in all of Trevor's old discs.
Yeah.
Just send them Trevor's old discs.
I got a Big Z stalker with your name on it. You gotta make sure that Ian Burchett doesn't play this week.
But I don't really think
it's not happening.
I mean, I'd love to hear your conspiracy theories of what is happening.
Yeah, everybody
just let us know in the comments.
You're like, you can be as creative as possible. Give me your conspiracy theories, and then we'll read the best one.
Yeah,
on the
best
podcast.
one. That's gonna be that's a new segment. Trevor's Dark Horse Conspiracies.
Yeah, whoever has the best one should probably be the one that makes us laugh the most.
Yeah. It doesn't surprise me with Eagle and Kyle finishing that far up there, but Corey Ellis, I feel like, is a name that still is flying under the radar on the Pro Tour scene. Mm-hmm. He's been dominating the local scene. He plays a lot in West Virginia, Ohio, Kentucky, North Carolina, that whole area. He has 7 wins so far this year at 15 events in the local area. And then now he's coming third out at D-Glow. I definitely think that's a name we're going to hear more and more of kind of as he progresses and continues to play more events.
Yeah. No, Corey Ellis has been solid. I mean, he's doing it kind of the way you should do, like early pro, kind of getting into it where you just kind of dominate your local scene, and then every once in a while go out for the Pro Tour stuff when you can make it and
see where you're standing.
Like, you do that enough times and you're going to figure out, maybe I can do this on tour. You know, it's a lot less pressure when you do it that way than when you just kind of leap.
When you just nosedive and you're like, I need that $250 back tomorrow.
You got it, because like, here's the bottom line is, if you're not smacking everybody around on your local scene, you're not going to beat Eagle McMahon. Yeah. I promise you that, because that guy surely isn't losing at any local scene.
Is if you think of the top 20 pros coming to your local B tier, they're winning it.
Yeah.
So then how are you, like, if you're not dominating the local scene, if you're like coming in like 3rd or 4th place, your local pros, and you're like, you know what, I think I make it on tour.
You got to be very consistently winning.
Yeah.
Because
then, like, how do you expect to come in the top 20, which is kind of where you need to be making like a comfortable living without worrying.
Yeah.
Then, like, how do you expect to do that if you're like, well, I mean, if Yuli showed up to my local course, he would destroy me. But on tour, surely I can beat him, even though he has 15 years of tour experience and seen all these courses.
Hey, man. You know, I mean,
it's just the dream of being a professional disc golfer, I think, sometimes makes logic go out the window very quickly.
Learning. I will admit, like, if you took the financials away from it, which is obviously like, duh, that's
all
the whole point. But like, how fun would it be? Like, it'd be
a great time.
I like I wish like I could have had just 1 year, just like where I just like raised the money or worked really hard to just get myself enough money to where like I was going on tour and I was gonna play every event and like money. It didn't matter where I finished. Like I could just go out there and enjoy like playing beautiful courses. Like
Yeah.
how fun would that?
Well,
be?
what's scary
That'd
about
be
it is
really
let's say
fun.
that like you just grind it out on tour, and you're able to make it. Like let's say you start as a 20-year-old, and you're able to
Yeah.
make it 10 years on tour, but you're
And
never
then
great.
What do you do?
But you're never great, but you're never bad. You're able to grind it out and survive on tour. Now you're 30, and you have to start thinking about retirement, starting a family.
Yeah.
If you get injured,
10 years on tour is a lot of fun though.
but like then what do you do?
Maybe if you only make it like 4 or 5 years on tour,
Well, now
that's
you're
kind
30
of a bummer. But
and you're
10
looking
years on
for-
tour, that's a pretty good run. Like, I
But
mean,
a lot of people aren't starting when they're 20. A lot of people are starting when they're
yeah,
25.
but like you
so now
you
5
finish
years.
out when you're 30, you go pick up like a trade or something, and like I get it's not the best economic setup for your life, but like 10 years of touring on disc golf, like that's fun. That's a fun 10 years.
I'm just saying, like, at what cost?
You're okay. You're like reasonable Ronnie over here. Like that's like your whole thing is like you're a very like financially sound person who like is like careful about things.
Well, because like then you're.
I'm just thinking about all the fun that
That's
me and
the
Big
issue,
Germ
is
are
I
gonna
think-
have.
I think the allure is like it always seems
Big
like
Jim.
next
Yeah.
season. Next season is my season. Like, oh well, next year I'm gonna be a top 20 guy. Next year's it. Here I go.
How many guys have like actually floated on tour for 10 years and not ever like done anything?
That's the thing is you won't know.
Because even like guys like Paul Ulibarri who have somewhat floated around on tour for a long time.
He's making a good living though.
He's making a good living. Like, because like if you're on tour for that long, and at least in this disc golf scene, you make a big name for yourself just because you're going to become beloved because you're such a recognizable name.
That's the key.
But
Is
there's
that
some.
you can't be dependent on you doing well.
Yeah.
It's got if you're not gonna beat Eagle McMahon or Paul Macbeth, then you need to have
brand.
something else. You need
Yes.
to be big on like Ezra is great at it. He's got like
he has a
good
brand
social
where he doesn't
media.
need
Yeah.
to fill. Yeah, if he can survive on tour without actually cashing at tournaments.
So he's
could sell
valuable.
discs.
So he's valuable to a company because he can push plastic.
Here's the thing. Yeah. Selling discs, if you can sell discs, you can make it on tour because if you have a successful run of discs and you cash a $20,000 check, like, there you go. You probably make it for the year.
yeah, that can make you through a
Yeah.
decent chunk and then find some work in the off season.
Right. Like, so that's what it really comes down to is can you move a disc?
Yeah, it's just
These
I
days.
think, and maybe this time's coming to an end, but I just have known. I don't want to like call people out because I mean we're on a podcast, but I have known several people who you're like are just chasing this dream of touring, and like you're like, at what point are you gonna wake up and be like, dude? Your dream of touring ain't really working right
I
now.
mean, I think a lot of those people too like end up getting plugged in somewhere in disc golf because they make networking. Like you make a lot of relationships. I think that's the other thing. If you're on tour for 10 years, like you probably made a lot of relationships. Because look at who. I'm not saying this is a good thing, but like look at who the Pro Tour is hiring.
They're only disc golfers.
Yeah.
yeah.
Which
That's
is-
that's a whole different
Yeah,
topic.
Not really maybe the best
Well,
idea,
yeah.
but I get that we're trying to support our fellow disc golfers, and like
Well, it's like
that's
it's
respectable.
the same thing with anything. If you create an echo chamber where all the ideas are coming from the same general background, the same general
Yeah.
headspace, you're not going to get anywhere
Yeah.
because everyone's going to be bouncing the same ideas. Because like everyone in disc golf right now is in disc golf.
Yeah, we don't.
That's what like
we
the
don't disagree with that.
yeah I know. It's like if you're looking for a journalist, why don't we like go find someone who's been doing journalism and like a small like minor
Well,
league sport.
the
that you can
bigger-
give them a slightly bigger raise, but like they have all this journalistic thing history,
Right.
and that's just
'Cause
one.
Our industry
part.
only gets so big, whereas baseball, for example, gets 1,000 times bigger.
Yeah.
So like it's not even just their ideas. It's
or
just
even like a
they,
starting position out of college.
Yeah.
where you just like someone who now has a X, Y, or Z degree and like will know what they're doing within this.
It'll start
frame.
happening. I mean,
I hope so.
We're not long before there's going to become like an outside of disc golf corporate takeover at some point when like all these other companies decide to get in. I mean, we've already started seeing that with like a company like Bushnell, who is like very much an outside of disc golf company and is easing
Making
their
some
way
great
into
products.
Disc golf. I'm not starting that. Easing their way into disc golf, which is a good thing. Like this is good for outside companies to get in with good names. I think it's just going to keep happening. I think we're going to start seeing more of that. And it's going to be very interesting because like we see a lot where disc golf companies get very shaken when new ideas hit them. So like when these big companies who are not going to be stopped because they're big get into the sport and they shake things up. And people were like, whoa, you can't do that. But it's like, yeah, they can because they're Nike.
Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Just do it. It's literally what we live by.
Like, what are you going to do? Stop them? Like, so it'll be very interesting to see how that all goes down. There's going to be, it's every sport though. Whenever like change happens, like people are going to get grumpy. And then the dust will settle. And then they're going to, more years pass and they're all happy with that. More change comes. They get
It's just like, look at the Pro Tour in general.
Yeah.
Like the Pro Tour has multiple times like hit a roadblock. People are like, "Are you kidding me?" And then like 2 years later, like, "This is the greatest thing ever."
It's
like, well, we're changing this now. You're like, "What?"
It's just a natural progression.
And it's like, "Oh my word, I love this."
It's just growing
It's like
pains.
that's what's You're right. It's growing pains. I do love Bushnell speaker they came out with, but we won't go into that because Trevor thinks I'm not gonna get Trevor heated up because you will all disagree with Trevor, and then that'll hurt his feelings. So we're not even gonna worry about that.
It's just not good for Trevor at this point.
It's just not. Yeah, it's just we're here for Trevor's morale. Okay, we're giving him birdie vibes only here today. Let's go ahead. We still have to talk about Eagle. Frick, I was just completely skipped. Eagles win.
Yeah, don't do that.
You can't do that again. Eagle, though, had basically the same putt on 18 as he did last year for the win.
Yeah.
With one major change. This time it was clear he knew it was for the win.
Yeah.
He stepped up and you could see it in his eyes of like, I need this putt for the win. And then he banged it and you could see it in the emotions right after. It was a much better moment than, I won? I won? Oh my gosh, I won! It was a much better moment than that because he knew what it was for. He knew what it was for.
Good for him.
Yeah.
I think Eagle's becoming more of a competitor.
Eagle's becoming a killer.
Yeah, Eagle is starting. He got the taste of the blood, and now he's like, he wants more wins. And I like that. Like, here's the thing. Like, Eagle, I'm pretty indifferent when it comes to Eagle. I think he's incredibly talented. I think he's pretty marketable guy. Like, I don't think he's certainly not bad for the sport at all. And he's very fun to watch play. Mm-hmm. So I don't have a problem with Eagle. And I like that he has kind of gone from a little bit of like, seems a little soft, like not really, kind of gets shaky in crunch time to like, he kind of is starting to attack.
He has a
like,
clutch gene now.
Yeah, he's starting to get a little clutch, wants to win, like down the stretch. He's made some really, really great, like hold on to lead type plays this year, especially at Portland.
Eagle currently is the player of the year, no doubt. Yeah. This is his 4th Pro Tour win.
Eagle's really starting to play well.
He's being dominant this year. Really, there's no way around that. And he's still young. Is the other side of it. I think we are entering the Eagle McMahon era.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we're already kind of in it, but I think we're like officially like.
Yeah.
This season is
consistent.
This season's the beginning of the Eagle McMahon era. And it's not going to be the Paul McBeth era where he just wins every weekend because the competition.
Like 23.
Yeah.
So.
The competition's so much better than if you look back at like 2015. So you're not going to see someone literally just never lose, but you're going to see
4 wins on the Pro Tour though this year.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like you're going to start seeing like stuff that's like, dang, he was able to pull that off against this field.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be a little bit more and more common.
Dominant seasons are going to look like, for at least for now, are going to look like winning 1 out of every 3 or 4.
Yeah.
That's
where if you can like end the Pro Tour season with like 4 events, you like he already has 4 wins right now. But like if he ended with 4 wins, you'd still look back and be like, holy cow.
Yeah, good season.
That was a great season. He might be able to get 5 or 6 this
It's
year.
literally starting to get to the point where like having a win during the season is like, all right, solid season, you got to win. And if you have more than one, it's like a great season. And guys that rattle off like 4, like you're saying, like that is like an awesome season.
Yeah, it's not, the times in disc golf are changing.
Yeah. It's not like it used to be where like just back and forth, guys winning 10 events.
Because if you go back like 2015, 16, 17, 18, it was just Paul and Rick.
Yeah.
Like there were some seasons where if Paul and Ricky were both at the event, one of them won every time.
Yeah.
I think that was the 2016 season. Mm-hmm. And 2015, Paul basically didn't lose. He came in like 2nd and 3rd a handful of times. But like I think that era of disc golf, we've went through it. I think that's over because now there's way too much talent in the field. That like back then, if you were Paul and Rick, you had to beat each other, and there's maybe one more person that was sneaking up that you had to beat. Now you have to beat each other, but then there's every weekend 5 or 6 people that are competing at that like it feels like that same tempo, and they're never the same people. There's a top 4 that seem to almost always be, but like this week, the top 4 kind of fell off as far as overall goes. And so Eagles still had to battle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back in 2015, if the top 4 didn't show up, Eagle wouldn't have battled. Eagle would have just ran away with it. But they don't show up, and you have Kyle Klein step in, Corey Ellis step in, Kevin Jones was in the mix. You know what I mean? There's James Conrad was in the mix. There's all these people that are like, you're not standing alone at the top anymore.
Yeah.
There's so many people up there. Other thing this tournament gave us with the Eagle was a highlight that's been shared quite a bit, this has nothing to do against Eagle. I think it's a stupid highlight because of how did he get in a position where he had to throw like this, but where he's standing straddling a guardrail and throws like a 750-foot forehand. It was actually, what, 430?
430 uphill.
430-foot uphill forehand.
It's amazing.
I just don't like that, like, because that's blown up to where outside the disc golf world has seen it. I just don't like that, like, that's like your first glimpse into disc golf possibly is like this dude straddling a guardrail.
The guardrail should be treated like barbed wire. It's literally like there could be sharp metal on it. So
I'm pretty sure the OB was like the road, which is on. Yeah. You had like. I think that's how he got into that situation. Is he had like a foot of safe space even on the other side of it.
He needs to be the OB line needed to be before the guardrail.
Yeah, the guardrail should have never been able to be crossed, but it did give us a moment that we have discovered on TikTok.
Yeah.
Trevor discovered it. I'll let Trevor explain.
Well, yeah. So whenever disc golf clips get popular on TikTok, it very easily reaches a non-disc golf audience, and you start seeing comments of like people just talking about you get a lot of the houses even a sport comments, but I mean we get that on baseball, so like that's not really who cares. But then a lot of people are like will give you just opinions on the sport that you'd never consider because you're so used to the sport. And one of these opinions was that people were saying that the commentator from this clip, who was Jeremy Koling, sounded like Jim from The Office or John Krasinski. And I was like, what are they talking about? Like, what do you mean? And then I listened to it and I was like, they're right. He does sound like Jim from The Office.
Yeah. So I'm pulling up, this is from the Great Lakes Open, but it's just a random part of it on Jomez. And we're just gonna take a moment and listen and just picture Jim from The Office.
It's a pretty flippy disc, so he's just trying to control that. But you're right, when Kevin throws it hard, he falls down. Yeah, it's awesome.
It does.
That line that line there when he says when Kevin throws it hard, he falls. Like that's
It's a little deeper. It's a little off,
but very similar like timbre of his voice.
like his cadence.
I did not want to believe it. Whenever I heard Trevor say that earlier this morning, I did not want to believe it because you can't be Jim. But it sounds. And I pulled up a clip here of Jim just because I want to hear. Yeah. Sorry.
She's shy.
Yeah.
I mean, I can picture Big Germ talking right there.
That's really close. Wow. He's got a new. Big Germ, if you're listening, probably aren't. If you are,
new branding.
You need to get on Fiverr right now or Fiverr. That's what it's called.
It's Big Germ.
Yeah, you need to get on Fiverr or Cameo and start selling Jim impersonations.
Yeah.
People will pay good money for that.
Big Germ.
It's really close.
Because I'm sure if he tried to do the impersonation, he could probably get really
he's
close.
already so close.
He's already close.
If he changed a little bit, he would be John Krasinski.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe people already know this.
Man, maybe we're late to the party.
No way. We would have heard
I think maybe people
we're too big of Office fans
like
that
his
we would have
friends.
heard it.
Seriously.
Maybe like his friends know this.
How could but can Jomez market that? Because
Of course.
Sure they can.
but it's like
If they bought
Big
the license.
Tuna.
owned by NBC though.
What's
They
owned
could
by
buy it.
NBC?
You could
The word Office? Big Tuna?
It's true.
True.
Germ with the tuna head?
I mean, if
I would
Discraft
buy a
can,
big tuna disc.
if Discraft
Easy.
can get the Star
A big
Wars
tuna
licensing
beat up
rights,
Wraith.
Jomez can surely get.
you could
the
get
Office
the
licensing
Office,
rights.
but I'm saying there's plenty of ways around it.
Yeah.
Where you don't have to.
Yeah.
Especially disc
Well,
golf is
listen,
so small
if
that like
I'm claiming the intellectual property to the Big Tuna shirt, so by law they
Boom.
can't make it there. Jomez can't have it. I'll sell it to you for $51. That's
Wow.
my
that's a
price.
steal.
Like just imagine just a big tuna like something and it's got Jeremy Koling on it.
Yeah.
You just print money at that point.
I would buy that. I'd wear the heck out of that.
Yeah.
Wow.
We just invented something.
Big germ, big tuna. It's crazy world.
Knowing how this podcast works, they're going to announce the drop of that shirt tomorrow.
Yeah.
Before we ever-
definitely.
before we-
yeah.
It's just gonna. It's already. It actually just got posted. Look at there. Everyone's be like, "Wow, these guys really just read Jomez's Instagram caption and thought they did something." No. For
We
the
record
record,
this a day before we release
for
it.
the record, we have not seen it. If it's been released, we invented that in our own heads, so we think. On FPO, though, we had Kristen Tatar taking it down over Paige Pierce. Katrina Allen comes in third. Kristen hit an absolute clutch putt for eagle on hole 17.
Yeah.
Up the hill. It was like a 50-footer. Ended up deciding the tournament. I think in the moment, she was like, she asked her boyfriend, Silver, what she needed to do, and he was like, or what the scores were, and he said that she was tied. And so she was like, I need to make this then because Paige was within the circle for her eagle bid. And so in her head, she was like, I need to make this to keep pace. Ended up, Paige missed her circle one eagle putt, and so it ended up putting her up by one. Mm-hmm. But then 18 for FPO, it's just not a good finishing hole.
No.
Because it doesn't really give any chance for drama.
Yeah, they can't get there, and it's an easy what?
It's an easy three.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I looked at it. The top 20 players in FPO in the final round, one player had a 4, everyone else 3'd.
Yeah.
So there's no chance for drama, really.
Yeah, they needed to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, so that's what I think that the final hole 18 on courses should be a par 4.
I like par 5 even.
Just something where there's a chance for parity and there's multiple chances for mistakes. So if you're in the lead, you don't have to throw one good shot with pressure and you've made it.
You don't want like, I get that a lot of courses use 17, but you don't want your players getting to the final hole and like if it's a one-stroke game being like, all right, well, that's it.
Well, that's like USDGC is a great example. Hole 17 is the iconic hole.
Yeah.
Tournaments, a lot of them are won and lost, but if you're down 2 going into 18, you don't feel like it's over.
Yeah, 18 is still a very tough hole. As somebody who's played it, it's actually incredibly tough.
You have to execute to birdie it. You have to execute 2 near perfect shots.
Yeah.
So that gives, if you're down 1, that gives you a good chance of like, I just got to execute this birdie, and the guy in the lead, what are the chances he's...
The guy in the lead does not want to have to try and make birdie on 18 on the hole, because it is very tough. That OB on the corner, you have to play a skip, and then there's like the downhill.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I think the par 4 or anything above like a pitch and putt par 3 or this hole was like kind of a tweener, where like everyone's going to get the same score. Something that provides that difficulty and does it for multiple shots to where the person in the lead has to think on multiple shots, and the person behind has a chance multiple times. Like if they execute it perfectly and put it inside the circle, and they're like, I have a putt for birdie, now the person in the lead has a lot of pressure on that up approach shot or whatever.